Welcome to the Vibrant Visibility Podcast. Being visible as a soul-led business owner isn't just about the practical strategies, marketing tips, and tech systems. It's also about the internal systems, the safety of your nervous system, the somatic connection, and the embodiment of being a badass CEO that will support you in all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And I'm here to share all of that with you on this show. I'm your host, Shawnee Arsenault, a registered nurse turned visibility coach and business mentor for heart-centered coaches and healers. I created a six-figure coaching practice in my first year of business and scaled to multiple six figures my second year, all in the middle of getting pregnant with my first baby and becoming a new mama. If I can do this entrepreneurship thing, I know you can too. If you're ready to learn how to be a CEO in a way that feels aligned with your heart, become a lighthouse for the people that you're meant to serve, feel free to authentically express yourself and be a magnet for success, and grow your coaching business in a way that is sustainable and fulfilling, I can't wait to be in your ear along for the ride. Hello to my beautiful community of heart-centered coaches and healers and entrepreneurs. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in hot today with a little bit of spice because I have been hearing and seeing things going on in the community that are bringing out kind of like a mama bear energy. I'm very protective of my community of coaches. And when I see people operating out of integrity and when I see people being scammy and weird, it makes my blood boil. So I just want to speak on that. That's the topic that we're going to be talking about today, right? Is how to spot a spammy coach or mentor and find a coach who really has your back, right? Essentially going over some red flags for you to look out for. And a lot of this is going to be a really intuitive process, right? As you listen to the things that I'm going to say here, I want you to also check in with your body. You guys know me. You guys know that I always want you to go inward, to connect with your body, to listen to the signals that your body is giving you. It has so much information for you. It knows. Your intuition knows what's best. And so I feel like I have to open this podcast here right out the gate with this. I will never pressure you to hire me as your coach, right? If you're listening to this, if you're in my world, if you get my emails, if you're in my Facebook group, if you're anywhere in my world online, you will never feel pressured to work with me. I just don't think that that's the way to sell with integrity. I don't think I don't know, it just feels gross. It feels icky. And I know a lot of people in my community don't want to sell that way either, right? Like, who has gotten those messages in their inbox from people who it just feels weird? It feels gross. And so here's why I will never pressure you to hire me as your coach, ever, right? Because I trust you. I trust every single person who comes into my space, who comes into my world, who applies for one of my programs, who messages me on social. I trust that you know what decisions are best for you and your business. I trust that you know how to make empowered decisions that feel 100% aligned with your values, with your heart, with what you believe. I trust that you have weighed all of your options. You've looked at the pros and cons. You've made your lists, and you're really able to own the decisions that you make with radical responsibility, right? I trust that you know yourself better than anyone, right? And so if a coach or mentor or a potential coach or mentor makes you second guess yourself, makes you question your decisions, it's a red flag, my friends. It's a red flag. Like if you think about like a toxic relationship, if you've ever been in a toxic relationship and you've ignored those red flags and you felt them in your gut, but you ignored them anyway, and then later you totally regretted it, right? So in the coaching world, maybe you have felt pressured into signing up for a program that wasn't right for you, or maybe you worked with a coach that made you feel more insecure than empowered. Maybe they started to really criticize or judge the things that you did, or again, like just make you second guess yourself. I think I want this to be your invitation to start trusting your gut, to start trusting your heart, your intuition. There are physical sensations in your body that tell you, hey, maybe I should pause. Hey, maybe I should really think through and sit with this decision. Okay. Your body is an incredible source of wisdom, of information, and it's always sending you signals about what's truly aligned for you and what isn't. Right. So I'll kind of walk through my process, and this is going to be different for every coach. Right. So I'll kind of walk through my process of making a decision. Right. So I like to close my eyes. If I'm feeling kind of lost, if I'm not really sure which way to go, I like to close my eyes. I like to take a nice deep breath, sit somewhere quiet, somewhere I feel safe. Bonus points if it's out in nature, right? If you've got your feet on the earth or the sand or the water or wherever it is that you are. My favorite is the sand on the beach. So closing my eyes, taking a nice deep breath, maybe hand on my heart, hand on my belly. And it helps to acknowledge the noise in the mind. Just acknowledge what's there. Acknowledge how those thoughts are making your body feel, if there's any tension, if there's any heaviness. Dropping into what emotions you're feeling right now. And then trying to see if we can go deeper into your gut, into your heart, that intuitive space. What is it telling you? And it's okay if you don't have the answer. It's okay if you don't know yet. There's no pressure to know if it's a yes or no right now, right? But it's worth exploring. It's worth connecting to that intuitive space to listen, to see if it has an answer. And if it doesn't, that's okay. We can shelf the decision until you have something to respond to. And so when you're considering working with a coach or mentor, I want you to ask yourself a few questions, right? Like do that check-in, that like somatic check-in that I just walked you through. And if you want a little bit more of like a structured way to move about that check-in, I have a free download for you, a free worksheet. But when you're considering working with a coach or mentor, going through that somatic check-in and then asking yourself, okay, does this person feel safe? Right? Does this person feel trustworthy? Do their values align with mine? Do they empower me to make my own decisions? Or do they try to control me? Do they try to manipulate me or low-key gaslight me? Does something feel off? Even if you can't put your finger on it, even if you can't really pinpoint or find the words for how it feels off, if something feels off, don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. Look, there are plenty of amazing coaches, amazing mentors out there who will genuinely support you on your journey. I mean, I personally know dozens of heart-centered coaches, healers, mentors doing such incredible work. But unfortunately, there are also bad apples out there. And I've seen too many newer coaches get taken advantage of by experts and gurus who promise really quick fixes and overnight success, and they don't have the evidence to back up what they're promising. And like I said earlier, it just makes my blood boil. It makes me so angry. I get so protective. I get that mama bear vibe for my community when I see this bullshit happen. I can't stand it. And I see so many dreams die because of this, because of the scammy, out of integrity things that are going on out there in the coaching industry. And it makes me so upset to see people just give up because maybe the first mentor or coach they were exposed to took all the hope out of them. That like breaks my heart because people need us. People need heart-centered coaches, heart-centered transformational coaches that really care, that really want to do good in the world, that really want to make an impact. And the more of us that are out there, the bigger change we're going to be able to make, the faster that change is going to happen in our society. And so I just want to invite you guys to really dig into this work and to learn how to listen to your intuition to make decisions whenever you're hiring your own coach or mentor. Because if you choose wrong the first time around, I mean, it could either be, like a really good source of information and you can easily create a corrective experience afterwards, or it could drain you of all of the hope you have. Right. So I don't want to see that happen. I want to give you guys the tools to be able to discern who is the right fit for you. Okay. Um, so I'm going to give you some tangible things to look for, like actual red flags to be on the lookout for. So how can we protect ourselves? How can you protect yourself from these scammy coaches? Okay, so the first thing to look out for is the high pressure sales tactics. If they're making you feel guilty, if they're making you feel ashamed for not investing, if they are pressuring you to give them an answer right away, um, run. Run the other way. I swear it feels gross. And if it's starting to feel gross for you, don't ignore that, right? Even if it's someone who has created lots of success in their business, um, if their way of selling is not what you want to model, don't hire them. Okay, so that's one. High pressure sales tactics. Two, the second red flag is unrealistic promises. So, true transformation, true success for a heart-centered business takes time. It takes effort. It takes some slowness, and it takes a lot of going inward. And your pace is not going to be the same as anyone else's. So if you have a coach out there who is promising overnight miracles or coming at you with the vibe of like sneeze and make 10K months kind of energy, it's a no. It's a no, guys. um just be really cautious of people promising that you'll make a specific amount of money in a specific amount of time. Just be really careful there. Okay, red flag number 3, lack of transparency. So a good coach will be really upfront about their pricing, their methods, their experience. I give away so much shit for free. Um, a good coach with integrity doesn't gatekeep. And they're going to be really upfront about what they offer. They're going to be really upfront about their pricing. They're going to state their prices with confidence. A good coach will be really transparent about how many spots they have open, what kind of results they've helped their clients create. Whenever people ask me, I love when people ask me, like, can you talk about specific results that your clients have achieved? I pull up spreadsheets, I pull up data, I pull out feedback forms. I never share like names or identities of my clients, but I love to pull up all of the evidence that I've created in my practice. Because I think the brain really latches onto that. The brain really latches on to, okay, what have people actually achieved by working with you? And a lot of times it shows, right? Like a lot of the clients that I've worked with, I mean, they're out there. You see them. You see them being successful and hosting retreats and launching podcasts. And, you know, uh, I think a coach with integrity is super transparent about the work that they do. There's no question about the integrity of their work. Okay. Next red flag is if there's a one size fits all approach, right? Your entrepreneurial journey, every entrepreneur's journey is unique. It's different. Everybody will experience different challenges, different roadblocks, different successes, different timelines for success. And so if you come across a coach that offers a cookie cutter solution and says, like, this is the only way to do it and be successful, I would take a second look at that, right? And take a pause. Um, there are coaches out there who have methods that they use that they highly recommend. And I like to think that a really good, high level, high vibe coach will share their method with you and highly encourage you to follow it, but then also empower you to take things that truly don't work, right? So this is different from resistance, right? Like you might have resistance to doing to trying out a specific method because maybe there's fear or scarcity or something underneath. But if something truly doesn't feel in alignment for you, I think a good coach will encourage you to find a way that makes it work for you, right? So, a one size fits all approach, I'm always so weird about coaches who really push that. Um, because there's not only one road to success. There are so many different ways to create the same result, as we all know. So that's one that I want you guys to watch out for. Another red flag, disrespect for your boundaries. And this can be outright disrespect, or it can even be really subtle, right? So just kind of, again, use your intuition, use your body to check in and see, okay, how does this feel? A good coach will honor what your needs are. A good coach will never pressure you to do anything you're not comfortable with. They might challenge you and, like I'm pretty spicy with some of my clients and I call them forward, I challenge them, I hold their feet to the fire, but I will never make you feel forced to do something you don't want to do. And I'll never shame you for not wanting to do something that I challenge you on. And I want you guys to look for that in your mentors and coaches. Look for a coach who will challenge you, will hold your feet to the fire, but won't ever feel like they're forcing you to do something that you're super uncomfortable with. And then the last red flag I wanted to talk about, and unfortunately I've seen this one way too often, is shit talking other coaches. I hate that this is even a thing, right? Like high vibe coaches don't need to elevate themselves by bringing others down and spewing hateful comments all over the internet, right? High vibe coaches are louder with their actions, with their energy. And so if you see someone out there actively bashing another program or actively, shit talking another coach, I would take a look at that, right? Now, if somebody outright asks me, hey, what's your opinion on this person? I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be transparent, but I'm not going to waste my energy publicly shaming, publicly shit talking another coach for their methods or what they do, right? Like I think that kind of also comes from my inherent trust that people will see through it. And so higher vibe coaches trust their audience to know, trust their audience to be able to pick up on their integrity and their heart and their genuine care for the work. So those are, let's see, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were 6 red flags that I want you guys to look out for whenever it comes to finding a mentor, finding a coach to support you in your journey. I know this was a little ranty, but believe me, I think this conversation is so important to have. I think it's so important to have. You are powerful. You know what's right for you. And if you don't start to listen to those signals, if you don't start to listen to those nudges, I mean, your dreams are on the line, right? And whenever I say listen to your body, whenever I say listen to those signals, those nudges, I'm talking about that twisty feeling in your stomach, right? I'm talking about that heaviness in your chest, that tingling up in your jaw that's like, oh, something feels off, something feels weird. Right? If you're wanting a little bit more of a tangible description of what to look for in terms of body signals, those are the kinds of things. Like if you're feeling that little tight in your shoulders, right? Because your dreams are on the line. Your dreams are on the line. I trust you. Right? Every time I send out an email, every time I send out a message to somebody offering to work with them, I trust you. I trust you to make decisions that feel good for you. And that doesn't require me to pressure you into working with me, right? And so I think the question here is, Do you trust yourself? How much do you trust yourself? All right, I know this was a little intense. This was a spicy one. If this brought up anything for you, I would love to hear from you. My email inbox, my DMs are open. If this brought up stuff that you want to process, I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm here to help you process. I'm here to hold space for you. Again, I'll throw that link to that somatic check-in down in the show notes for you. And I hope this landed. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If this was helpful for you, subscribe to the show to make sure you're always in the loop when a new episode is out. And I would love to invite you to join me in the free Visibility and Tech Support for Coaches community, where we hang out and chat about all things visibility, tech, systems, and heart-centered business building. I regularly share tips and tutorials and go live every now and then, and it's just nice to be in a community with other like-minded coaches and healers. So you can join this free space at alignwellco.com/community, and I can't wait to see you there.